Hi, really annoyed with myself. I forgot to delete a load of videos, so I was blabbering on for ages, and then it flashed up saying you've no more memory left. So I managed to rectify that, but I've wasted 10 minutes of my life. How am I going to get that back? Just talking and then it all being deleted. Anyway, this is going to be an infrequent series of episodes where I basically just show you what I've been buying in my two favourite formats in collector's editions, which is DC Compact Comics and the DC Finest, hence the title of the series, of course. I am going to be doing another series as well, adjacent to it, which is just going to be, which will be a very irregular one, about every 3 or 4 months, where I'm just going to look at the upcoming titles coming out for DC Finest and DC Compact Comics, and ones that I would recommend. Okay, but that's by the by. But let's crack onto this. So I'll start with my one DC Finest that I bought. It's not a new one. It's one that came out quite a while ago, but I've always missed it when I try to order it. It's always been really popular. There's a reason for it. Um, it is a Silver Age one, and like all DC Finest, it's very good value for money. It's over 600 pages, and again, the standard price point of $39.99. Whereas if you bought the Annihilation Volume 3 Epic Collection from Marvel, that's less than 300 pages, and they're charging just $2 less. Ooh, this is why I love these formats. You get chunky books for a lot less books. Anyway, it's DC Finest Doom Patrol, the world's strangest heroes. Like I said, it's a Silver Age book. It covers the years 63 to 66, and of course introduces the Doom Patrol, including the Chief, a free outcast of society, Robot Man, Negative Man, and Elastigirl, and a weird selection of villains, and also introduces Beast Boy as well. So this covers My Graceful Adventure 80 to 85, and then it carried on with the same numbering, but it then changed the name to Doom Patrol. So that was 86 to 102, and it also includes The Brave and the Bold, Challenge of the Unknown, Teen Titans 6, and it's all done by Arnold Drake and Bruno Premiani. Arnold Drake on writing, Premiani on the art. And the only ones that he doesn't do is one issue of Doom Patrol, the artist, and the other titles that are in here, the Brave and Bold, Chance of the Unknown, and Teen Titans. So that's a lot of comics what he's done. Nowadays, you would not get an artist being so faithful and so loyal to monthly comics to do so many issues. And in volume 2, which is coming out in a week's time, he does the majority of that, and then it stops, and then they resurrect the title again in the late 70s. So I can't wait to get that, and I will look at that when it comes in. But the art is just so clear and crisp. There's a reason this series is a big fan favorite. It came out, I think it came out a few months before the X-Men. There's a lot of controversy saying, did Stan Lee copy Doom Patrol, or did DC copy X-Men? I think it was just coincidence, but I don't know. I do think he might have cribbed a bit, because the more you hear about Stan nowadays, the more you think, oh, come on, Stan. And while even though they build the X-Men as outcasts, they could hide in society. Even the Angel with his wings, he could put like a chest binder on to hide his wings. And Beast just had really large hands and feet, but he could disguise them with like really big shoes. So, but the Doom Patrol, they were complete. They were the classic freaks. I mean, Elastigirl, she couldn't control going big or small. Robot Man, who's a brain in a robot body. Negative Man, constantly bandaged, and Niles Calder was a brilliant scientist in a wheelchair. And everything about it, the because they weren't your typical superheroes, they did fight. They had their own roster of supervillains, like General Immortus and people like that. Animal Vegetable Mineral Man, Brotherhood of Evil, of course, which is one of the best villain team ups ever. Monsieur Allah, the ape, and things like that. But they didn't just have that, but they could go into like a weird fiction area where it became more like weird sci-fi, all the while having this amazing, gorgeous artwork. It's just so clean. And what I like about this. I'm not a huge fan of reading Silver Age books, I must confess. I did used to have a fondness for Spider-Man and Fantastic Four from the 60s. And yet I find the really early Fantastic Four and really early um, Spider-Man hard to read. I really only started enjoying Spider-Man, noticed Heresy, when um, John Romita came on, John Romita Sr., and Fantastic Four. I really only got into, really started enjoying that when like they started to introduce some characters like the Inhumans and Galactus. So like the early, about issue 30, 32. But with this, because the writing was quite clunky earlier on, this doesn't. It's not clunky at all. They do the bit where they have the bit setting up the paragraphs, setting up the stories. But whereas Stanley would do boxes of dialogue explaining what's going on, and then do speech bubbles still explaining what's going on. These don't. They don't oversaturate it. There's a lot of words in it, but it just flows better. And I think that's why I enjoy it. My two favourite Silver Age books, what I've really enjoyed, what I think have aged really well, have been this and The Flash, because they're much more weird science, and that's my vibe. So very happy for this. And Volume 2 is coming out in about a week's time, so I'll get that under review when I do get it. And then I got the two latest compact comics. I think I've got about 17 compact comics now. I just get the ones that I've not already got in another collected edition. So I did have this. So what I did get, I got Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I did have this in floppies, but I sold them when the Superman film was about to be released and got my money back and then some. And to be honest, this works better in book format, and it really holds up well in the smaller format as well. The art by Bilquis Evely hasn't lost any of its charm, any of its detail. So can't really wait to read that. So it's the full set, the whole series, just for $9.99, £8.99. And then I got Batman Gotham by Gaslight, which has the Brian Augustine Mike Mignola classic, but also the other with inks by P. Craig Russell, but also the other one, which is, I think, in a way for me, even more of a favourite, the sequel. Um, Batman Master of the Future, which has artwork by Eduardo Barrato. I adore Eduardo Barrato's artwork. It was a thicker issue as well, that it had 64 pages, whereas the other one was 48. And the art is just so clean by Eduardo Barrato. I knew I was gambling with that, which just suits this time period, the like steampunk Victorian period. So yeah, very happy with that. I think it's only like 120 or so pages, so it's a lot slimmer than your standard compact. More like the Arkham Asylum, We Free, and the Joker one. But even still, $9.99, $8.99 for a classic book of 120 pages. It's really good value. If this was a Marvel graphic novel, I am bashing on Marvel because their prices suck. If you got a 120-page graphic novel from Marvel, they charge you $19.99 at least. So yeah, very made up with that, and I do recommend you hunt them both out. Both, that one's a modern classic, and this is just an all-out classic. Two of the best Batman stories you can get. So can't wait to dive into those, and I shall see you soon. Bye. Just got to change.